And hello again on a very sunny, beautiful day. I am Aaron, and it's another session of Tales from the Sorry Chair. And things are a little bit different this time around. I'm in the sorry chair. That's not changed. But what has changed is I'm shooting this thing via phone, hands free. I've got a laptop, I've got it propped up on it. And the reason that we're doing that is because we're going to need both hands free. Both hands free for our budding little watch nerd who's wanting to get in on the action. So we'll let him have a go at it. We'll let our little watch nerd have a go at it with the typical watch nerd internet protocol of wristwatch check. And on the left hand wrist, we've got our precious little honey, one of two precious little honeys that we recovered from a box on the yard sale trail for the whopping sum of $1. It's a Swiss Army field watch. It's a darling little thing. It came to me, like I said, it only cost $1. For this watch, a lovely little Seiko quartz watch that we also have and have taken some loving care to as well, and a bunch of other quartz watches that obviously do not punch the buttons. And so I've sent them on to a fellow who said he's looking for watches to fix and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully they're doing him some good, maybe for parts, possibly movements, whatever. But anyway, this is our little rescue from this yard sale trail box. Now, when I got it, it wasn't working, so we took it to a jeweler, and we had to put a crown on it. I had to put a crown and a stem on it. And now $1 is not going to buy this watch. That's because I had to give the jeweler about $45 more to fix this thing up and put a crown and a stem on it. But it works. It come back working. Now I don't know if he replaced the battery or anything like that, but that's pretty cool. And $1 won't buy the Seiko either, but we'll get into that some other time because we're doing the wristwatch check, and sometimes watch nerds on the intranet will do a double-fisted time check. And yes, boys and girls, it's a smartwatch, or at least it is billed as a smartwatch. I'm not necessarily using it as a smartwatch because this is how I roll. This is how most of the times on the day, on the job, this Hamilton, wishful thinking, this little Swiss Army field watch will be replaced with a good old-fashioned, old-school Casio Square G-Shock DW5600. Because, well, it's the classic G-Shock, the original design anyway, or close to the original design anyway. And I'll be wearing this. And we're wearing this because of the health care functions that are available on this thing. So why did we pop for this watch? Well, 3 reasons primarily. One reason is form factor. You can definitely purchase smartwatches, low-rate smartwatches that have the improved healthcare functions somewhat similar to the brand spanking new Apple Watch Series 6. And they continue the form factor too, the nice big square body. But this is along more like a Fitbit form factor, and this is one attraction that this one has to me. The second one is price. This thing was available to me for just slightly less than the cost of a dead president. Dead president in this case being Grant. And you know what he's on, right? He's on the the $50 bill, just a little bit under $50, and this little fellow is mine. And then the third reason that we popped for this one is function. Included on this little fella are 2 functions that have made their debut on the Apple line on the Series 6. And those 2 functions are blood pressure and O2 blood monitoring. Yep. You can get those. You can pay the very handsome sum for an Apple iWatch, or you can pop a little less than 50 for this guy right here. But remember, boys and girls, the old chestnut always rings true. You get what you pay for. Very rarely more. and a big old bunch of times less. Yeah, you get what you pay for. So how is this little thing running? Well, it runs pretty good, as far as I can tell. The blood pressure readings that I get from this thing right here, as you cycle through the options and you select options, there's several options. There's fitness options, there's measuring options. There's 3 measuring options that you can reach through on here. You've got heart rate, you've got blood pressure, and you have O2. And it's just cycling through, smacking the little thing on the surface there. And you go through it. And whenever you get a blood pressure reading, the thing buzzes and lets you know that it's got it. And it does the same thing for the O2 reading. Heart rate, it does not do any buzzing. Like right now, 123/70. That's reasonably consistent with what the readings that I've been getting when I've been going to checkups with my doctor. I have not checked this thing recently with a real blood pressure measuring device. I will have an opportunity to do so coming up here in a few days with the doctor's appointment. And as far as the O2, again, I don't have a separate piece of equipment that I can cross-reference these measurements to, but I'm guessing they're fairly accurate because my readings that I've gotten from visits have been reasonably good. But again, like I said, they've not been confirmed by checking with slightly better equipment. So it works out pretty good as far as those things go. But there are some nickels. Like we said, get what you pay for. Rarely more. A lot of times less. But as far as what you get what you pay for. Now, of course, it works in conjunction with an app on a telephone. And and there's a QR code that you can snap with your phone if you have the capacity to do such things on your phone. You've installed those things, and it'll take you right to it, or you can just download it and from your favorite store, your favorite app store, where you get applications like that, and it's little fuss, little muss. But there are some things, there are some nickels. Like, for example, my smartwatch tells me that the outside temperature is 22 degrees Fahrenheit. It may be 22 degrees Fahrenheit somewhere in my time zone that I'm at, and the time is correct. The time is correct on my watch, so we're in the right time zone. But it's not 22 degrees here. Instead of venturing into the 20s, it's probably venturing into the 50s. The forecast is scheduling for, I think, 55 around there today with some variable cloudiness, variable sunniness. So, and this thing does sleep monitoring, and I do wear this to sleep, and I do check this thing afterward. And there are a lot of times that when you see the sleep graph, you see the times that are offered, time when you went to bed, time when you went to sleep, and the time that you woke up. And some of those times just don't jive. So that's a wonder. Now, as far as the sleep monitoring goes, you do get a linear graph, that has like 3 specific colors of the line that detail whenever you enter into deep sleep, when you're in light sleep, and when you're awake, times that you're awake. And you also have a graph feature down beneath that in the app that says that these you've done better, or this many people have done better than you, something or another, blah 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 blah, la-di-da, along with handy dandy tips and criticisms about whether you're not getting enough deep sleep, or whether you're going to sleep too late, blah blah, whatever. And like I said, I don't know. Like I say, the time signatures don't tend to make sense to me in terms of when I lay my head on my pillow and when I arise. They don't jive, so it's kind of got me suspect. Now, would I recommend this thing? I'm not 100% sure I would give a ringing recommendation, a ringing review, but it might be worth it as far as those basic functions that I've described. It could be handy in those ways, provided they check out. And I'll tell you something else about this thing. When we bought this thing, We bought this thing, and now the reason that we were able to purchase this thing for slightly less than a dead president, in this case Grant, is because it was on a half price special. But you got to check and make sure that it's available to you, and sure enough, it was available to me. And for some strange reason, I kind of got a feeling it might be available to you too if you go and get one, if the Spirit moves you to do so. Now, before you actually lay down money to purchase this thing, there's a selling attempt made on you. A selling attempt made to sell you watch bands. I'm not necessarily sure that is an unwise thing to do. And the reason that it's not an unwise thing to do is because this is the back of it. That's what the back looks like. That's a window. That's a window with a little peep window for excuse me, the measuring device. So how do you charge this thing? And by the way, charge seems to last for a couple of days. I'd say your mileage may vary depending on how often you actually do checks like blood pressure and O2 monitoring. But the way you charge this thing is step number 1, you take it off. Step number 2, you wrangle the lower strap of the unit off of the you wrangle the strap off of the lower portion of the unit. And you take this unit, and you can see here, you can see metal. You take this thing and you stick it into a USB outlet. And that's how you charge the watch. That's how you charge the watch. And the reason, and what I'm talking, and why I'm bringing that up is because that makes me wonder, how wise a purchase would it be to pop 4 extra bands? It may not necessarily be as indulgent or foolish as one might originally think. Because, so like I said, I don't know. I've only had this thing for a short while, and I have done some looking around on the internet, looking to see if I can see other types of bands that might resemble this, and I'm not having a lot of success. I'm also not having a lot of success in hopping onto any website that can sell you this thing and going on there for the purpose of buying just straps. And Amazon, and I can't really find any help on that. So I'm a little bit suspicious that this thing right here, I'm suspicious about this band. I'm suspicious about the durability of the band, the malleability, the flexibility of this band. What I'm nervous about is one day you take the thing off and you will have violated this thing for the last time, and it's going to rip to pieces, and you'll never get that thing on, and it'll never stay tight, and you now have another hunk of electronical monkey crap that is doing you exactly zero good in your life. That's my primary fear as far as this device goes. That right there, the strap question and the sketchy data that you seem to be getting sometimes on the app are definite hindrances to me giving a big super duper thumbs up on this critter right here. Now, your mileage may vary. If the Spirit leads you to do so, go ahead if you'd like, because like I said, it seems to work as far as the basic functions, but there are some little things that are sketchy. It kind of got me squirrely. So anyway, there we are. It's a hands-free edition of Tales from the Sorry Chair. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was a help to you, and hope you like them and keep coming back.